Hey, Treasure History. Today's essential question is, where were the major river civilizations located, and what were these civilizations like? Please pause your video and make a title at the top of your notebook page, River Valley Civilizations. Now make your page look like this. We have 4 key points today, one for each of the 4 riverine civilizations we've learned. When I say riverine, I mean supported by a river. First, we need to know where each riverine civilization is located. Please use emic and fill in the names of each civilization in the correct blank. Your choices are Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and India. Now answer the multiple choice questions to tell us which river goes with each civilization. Great job. Remember to always write emic on this type of map to help you remember. So why did these 4 great civilizations grow up next to rivers? Well, rivers provided the important natural resources necessary for human settlement, like fresh water, fertile soil, and flat land. And then, of course, if there was a mild climate as well, then it was perfect for farming. Let's start with key point 1, Egypt. Egyptians depended on the Nile's regular flooding, which happened once every year. The flooded Nile left silt, or black land, for farming. Egyptians also used the Nile to trade with Nubia, their neighbors to the south. Egyptians wrote in hieroglyphics. The only reason we can read hieroglyphics today is that archaeologists found the Rosetta Stone. They decoded the hieroglyphics by comparing them to Greek letters, which were also on the stone, that they already knew how to read. Egyptian religion was polytheistic, so they believed in many gods, and much of their religion involved preparing for death and the afterlife. Please copy those details into your box for key point 1. Please pause for more time to copy. Let's go on to key point 2. Number 2 on the map is Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is also called the Fertile Crescent and sometimes the cradle of civilization because it's the first place that humans were known to begin farming. This land was so fertile because of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Silt from these rivers allowed people to farm, and therefore city-states grew. Mesopotamian city-states were walled cities who governed themselves independently, like as if they were their own countries. Mesopotamian writing was called cuneiform, and it looked like triangles and sticks. A famous early example of cuneiform is Hammurabi's Code, which is one of the first sets of written laws in history. Today you can see Hammurabi's Code, this stone tablet, inside a museum in Paris called the Louvre. That's why you see Mr. Heron standing with Hammurabi's Code. Mesopotamians were also polytheistic, and they worshipped at ziggurats, in the blue temple at the very top of the building. Please copy those key details into your box for key point 2. Go ahead and pause if you need more time. And let's move on to key point 3. Number 3 on the map is the Indus River Valley. In the Indus Valley, the river that supported life was the Indus, so that's easy to remember. Another important river in this region was the Ganges, which is south of the Himalayan mountains. Both the Indus and the Ganges are important holy rivers to the religion of Hinduism. You see here people praying in the river. Hinduism began in the Indus Valley and then moved into the rest of India. It's thought to have been started by a group of people called the Aryans, who migrated from Europe into the Indus Valley. It's still the most commonly practiced religion in India today. Buddhism also started in India, but it spread to Eastern Asia through trade, and that's where it's more popular now. The first major cities in the Indus Valley were Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. These cities are known for their urban planning, with a great bath and a citadel in the middle of the city. Plus, they had sewer systems and 2-story houses. We still don't know how to read their writing, but we do know that they had pictographs that looked like this. These pictograph seals were used for trade, like receipts. Please copy these key details in your box for key point 3. Go ahead and pause and copy. All right, let's do number 4 on the map, China. The important rivers here are the Huanghe and the Yangtze. The Huanghe is also called the Yellow River, or the River of Sorrows, because it often flooded and destroyed homes in ancient China, just as it still does sometimes today. People in ancient China mostly farmed rice. They used terrace farming to farm in the mountains. The Chinese government was a monarchy. Kings held power in dynasties, which means that they passed power from father to son. The kings told their people that the gods had chosen them. This idea was called the Mandate of Heaven. The Mandate of Heaven also said that gods would take bad kings out of power. One powerful emperor, Shi Huangdi, started the Great Wall, which divided China from Mongolia. It was a man-made barrier to protect China from invasion from enemies. China was also isolated by natural barriers, the Himalayas, the Pacific Ocean, and the Gobi Desert. As a result, they were culturally isolated. They didn't really talk very much with other civilizations for thousands of years. But they also did eventually open their border to trade through the Silk Road. China was the only civilization in the world who could make silk, so they made a lot of money sending it all over Asia and to Europe. Please copy these key details about China. Go ahead and pause. All right. If you're done copying your key points, please get to work on your review packet until it's time for guided practice. This one is a pretty big section because we needed to cover all 4 civilizations. So work extra hard and extra quick. And remember, the more you get done in class, the less homework you have tonight. Go ahead and close your computer.